All right, our topic for today is composition of functions. And what this means is one or both of the following. First of all, two or more functions combined by addition, subtraction, multiplication, or division. Or a function inside of a function, which could look like this. And the way that we say this is f of g of x. This one is g of f of 5. All right? Both of these are compositions of functions. And once you learn the trick for finding these, they're pretty easy. So let's go to our first example, and I'll show you how to find some of these. Our first example says, given f of x equals 3x minus 2 and g of x equals x squared, find the indicated values. So the first one is f of 1 plus g of 2. All right? And this is really easy. We're going to find f of 1, we're going to find g of 2, and we already know how to do that, and we're going to add them together. So f of 1 equals 3 times 1 minus 2, which is 3 minus 2, which equals 1. All right, so we found f of 1. Now we're going to find g of 2. G of 2 equals 2 squared, which is 4. All we have to do, since we're adding f of 1 plus g of 2, is substitute in their values. So this is 1 plus 4, and this equals 5. Simple enough. Now these are the ones that you probably don't know how to do by looking at them. And I'll show you the trick to working with them. Our first example here is f of g of 5. And we're going to use this f of x and this g of x. The way that we do these is in this box. Find the value of the innermost function first. So you're going to go to the inside, and that's right here. And you're going to find g of 5. So that's your first step. So g of 5 equals 5 squared, which equals 25. And now we're going to substitute. What we're going to substitute is the value 25 in place of g of 5 right here. So I'm going to remove the g of 5 and replace it with 25. So this now looks like this. F of 25. And this is easy for us to find. This is 3 times 25 minus 2, which is 75, minus 2, which is 73. All right, so the way that we do composition of function, start with the innermost function and then work to the outside function. So let's do a few more examples using the same f of x and the same g of x. So first of all, in example C, I have g of f of 1. Now, since f of 1 is in the inside, I'm going to start with that first. And I'm going to find f of 1. F of 1 equals 3 times 1 minus 2, which is 3 minus 2, which is just 1. Now, since I found f of 1, I'm going to replace f of 1 with its numerical value, which is 1. So this is g of 1. This happens to be 1 squared, which is 1. So again, working from the inside out. All right, let's go to D. Notice we have f of 3. So we have a function inside of itself, and that's fine. It's totally fine to have that. Start with the innermost function. Right here is f of 3. So let's calculate that. F of 3 equals 3 times 3 minus 2, which is 9 minus 2, which is 7. Now we're going to substitute 7 in place of f of 3. So this is now f, that's the outside f, of 7, which is 3 times 7 minus 2, which is 21 minus 2, which equals 19. All right, now we've got some trickier ones at the bottom of the page. Let's go to E. With E, here's what I have. I have G of 2 times f of negative 1. Again, start with the innermost function first. That's this f of negative 1. So we're going to start with that. So this is f of negative 1 that we have to find, which is 3 times negative 1 minus 2, which is negative 3 minus 2, which is negative 5. Now, what we're going to do is replace f of negative 1 with negative 5. So this is g of 2 times negative 5. 2 times negative 5 is negative 10. So this will equal g of negative 10. Let's put that into our function. Remember, our function is g of x equals x squared. So this equals negative 10 in parentheses squared, which equals positive 100. Now, example F doesn't have a numerical value. It has a variable value. That's fine, we can still do this. So my innermost function is g of a. All right? So I'm going to substitute a in place of x. So g of a is a squared, because g of x is x squared. All right? Now, substitute g of a with its value, a squared. So this is f of a squared. Now, here's what we're going to do. We're going to go back to our f function, and everywhere that there's an x, we're going to replace it with a squared. All right? Because whatever is here replaces our x value. So this happens to be 3 times a squared minus 2. And that is f of g of a. All right, let's go to the next page. And we've got our same function values. And we're going to find some more compositions of functions. So here's what I've got. F of g of x. Now, we know what g of x is. It's x squared. So here's what I'm going to do. Replace g of x with x squared. So this is f of x squared. All this means that I'm going to do is everywhere that there is an x, I'm going to replace it with an x squared. So this is 3 times x squared minus 2. All right? Let's do g of x, which is example B. All right? First of all, g of x is x squared. So we're going to substitute x squared in place of g of x. So this is g of x squared. Now, we're going to go back to our g function, which is x squared, and we're going to replace x with x squared. So this is x squared, let's put it in parentheses, squared. And this simplifies to x to the fourth. You'll remember from Algebra 1 that we're going to multiply these exponents, so 2 times 2 is 4. That makes this x to the fourth. All right, we've got some other examples at the bottom of the page. Let's go to D first. All right, D is g of f of x. So first of all, let's replace f of x with 3x minus 2. its function value. So this is g of 3x minus 2. Now that means we're going to put 3x minus 2 in place of x in the g of x function. Since the g of x function is x squared, this is going to be 3x minus 2 squared. Now remember, what you have to do with this is we have to FOIL this, because what this means is 3x minus 2 times 3x minus 2. When we use FOIL, 3x times 3x is 9x squared. 3x times negative 2 is minus 6x. Negative 2 times 3x is minus 6x. And negative 2 times negative 2 is plus 4. Combine your like terms and we get 9x squared minus 12x plus 4. All right, now let's go back to C. All right? C is f of x plus h. And what we're going to do is go back to our f of x function, and everywhere we see an x, we're going to replace it with x plus h. So here's what we've got. We've got 3 times x plus h minus 2. Now we have to subtract f of x. All right? But here's what you want to do. You want to put it in parentheses so that you are distributing that subtraction. So minus 3x minus 2. All right? We need to do a little bit of distribution to clean this up. So this is 3x plus 3h minus 2, distribute the negative, minus 3x, and then plus 2. All right, out of this, let's combine like terms. The 3x and the negative 3x cancels. The negative 2 and the plus 2 cancels, and that actually leaves us with just 3h.